What is the point in sacking Gareth Southgate before the Euros next year? I can't get my head around it. I keep on seeing these lads on Talksport or YouTube or whatever, just constantly going, let's get rid of him. Germany just got rid of Flick, let's do that, and Germany are going to win the Euros next year, and that's the reason, and they're going to bring in Jurgen Klopp and it's going to be fine. However, I still think the grass is always greener with this. I think people think we're going to get Pep Guardiola, he's somehow going to leave Man City mid-season to come manage England. We're going to get Mourinho and he's going to come back and do his mid-2000s, late 2000s, South, and he'll be fantastic, we'll win everything. And I just don't think it's the case. Me personally, I've criticised Southgate at times. I've been probably more criticism towards him than love, because I think in the Euros, he should have won that game. He played far too defensively against that Italian team, and he should have attacked them. And I think that was one of the main criticisms of Southgate. Fantastic defensively, keep loads of clean sheets, but he don't know what to do with all these great players at his disposal. But we got to the World Cup, and people have just revisionist history. I mean, how people think England played bad at that World Cup, I do not know, because I'm very critical of England, but we played well at the World Cup. We dominated the group. I think we had Senegal, was it, in the round of 16? Smashed them about, we looked fantastic. And we got to France, and we took it to France. They were probably on paper and the favourites to win that tournament, and we looked the better team in the first half. It took a Tchouaméni screamer in the first half and a lapse of concentration with Giroud's goal. But Harry Kane, if he scores that penalty, we're talking about a different narrative here, because people will be going, we beat that France team, fantastic, got to the semi-final and potentially get to the final and beat Argentina. You never know, do you? But it's just those fine lines that people forget about, and they used to beat Gareth Southgate, basically. To me, Euro qualifiers are essentially friendlies for England. I think for the middle, lower countries, massive games, but for England, it's basically a certainty that we're going to go through. It was only in 2010, when I was 11, 12 years old, when we didn't make the Euros, and I think it's just a case, sorry, it's 2012, wasn't it? But I think it's a case that these games, I don't know why people get so up in arms about them, because for one, all the Premier League players probably don't want to be playing there. I mean, even someone like Bellingham in Spain is the talk of the town at the moment, fantastic for Real Madrid, the star boy, everything. Why would then he want to go, he's training at the Rangers training ground before the Scotland game tomorrow night? Why would he want to do that? So I think it's just an interruption for these players, so they're probably not as motivated, and it's just a bit of a pain, isn't it? And I don't see these games as, I've watched so many of these games, I don't really watch as much anymore, but I saw the Ukraine game, and I don't get it. I don't get why people get so annoyed. Yes, I don't think Henderson should have been selected for the squad at all. Maybe just selected but not played, because leader around the squad, but obviously it's in Saudi now, and it's just a case that if you're picking players on form, I understand it. However, some of these selections, especially with someone like Harry Maguire, I can't get my head around people saying he shouldn't play, because for me, yes, I do want players to be playing pretty much week in, week out for the club, because I think it gets match fit, basically. It gets them in some form and they can take it into the tournament. And I think that's going to be a struggle for Maguire this season, because I don't think he's going to play that much. However, if we're just going on England performances, top 5 performer for England over the last, Southgate's tenure really, because look at the 2022 World Cup last Christmas. He was in the squad of the tournament. People seem to forget that, and it's not one of those. It wasn't like a sympathy thing. He was one of England's best players. He was fantastic in the group stage, and I remember that Iran game. He was fantastic. I think that was our first game. He was fantastic against them. I know it's a lesser country, but no disrespect. But he was fantastic, and I don't understand why people are saying, "Oh, let's bring in Tomori, or let's bring in Mark Gay." Mark Gay thinks fantastic, and I think he's going to be one of the best England centre backs in the world. If not now, in a few years or so. But he hasn't played in that squad much. He's still new to it. Maguire knows that backline inside out. He knows Pickford, he knows Luke Shaw, he knows John Stones, he knows Kyle Walker. So I don't understand what is the criticism of him playing a lot. And again, I get the selections, because people are going, oh, James Ward-Prowse not getting selected or so. And how's Calvin Phillips getting selected? He barely plays, and I completely get it. However, every England selection, every international break, every World Cup, even myself are always going to moan at one player pretty much why he's got selected or why he hasn't. And it's a constant thing, it will never change. We could get Pep Guardiola in, we could get Klopp, we could bring Alex Ferguson out from retirement. Every single selection there'll be, why is Jarrod Bowen not in? Why is Marcus Rashford starting? Why is Ivan Toney not been selected? It's just constant, so I don't think that's a Southgate issue, because he's never going to satisfy everyone with his selection, because there'll be Arsenal fans and there'll be Spurs players picked, or there'll be the English fans that we all pretend to watch Tomori week in, week out and pretend how good he is. Really good player, don't get me wrong, but let's not pretend 99% of us do not watch AC Milan regularly. We see him in the Champions League, and if you watched him in the Champions League last year, especially against Chelsea, he didn't look too good, did he? So it's a case of, Southgate pay attention to all of that, or I don't know, but I just get confused why people want him sacked, because he's got such a good infrastructure. For once in the last 6 years, we've got such a harmonious squad. They seem to get along so well, despite being from different teams and stuff like that, and rivalries. And you compare it to the golden generation with Ferdinand, Terry, Gerrard, Lampard, Beckham, all of that. They can all say, because we just were so right, we were so competitive against each other. But it's a cop-out and it's an excuse at the end of the day. And it's also an indictment against the manager, like Sven at the time, because he didn't get that infrastructure in the team. And I think just the feeling around this England team over the last half a decade or so is just what it needs to be. And especially going to a tournament that we definitely can compete, to win, why break all of that up? And this is definitely probably the best, especially in squad depth, the best England squad I've seen in my lifetime. It's just top to bottom, just star-studded, fantastic, especially the attack, but the defence is slowly creeping up behind them at the moment. So I get it. I get the expectations are so high, and I get that Southgate has to do something with his squad. How can he play defensive and with all these fantastic players? I completely understand people's criticisms, and I have them too. And if it was my choice, if it wouldn't affect team morale and just, how things were run, then yes, I would love to get a Pep Guardiola in, fantastic. But in reality, that's just not how it happens. And I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to Southgate for one more tournament. If he stinks up the gaff in this tournament, then fair play, get rid of him, all of it. Get a new manager in, get Eddie Howe, get Graham Potter, whatever. But seeing what we did in the World Cup, that wasn't one of the tournaments like in 2018 and 2021, but it wasn't one of the tournaments like that where we underperformed and we just beat the teams we were meant to. Yes, we did just beat the teams we were meant to beat, but we really took it to France, and I'm just not having this narrative that we didn't play well in that tournament. Harry Maguire didn't play well in that tournament. Harry Kane was terrible. All of this. I think we were really good, and on another day we beat that France team, because are we supposed to win every single game? There's a fantastic look at the Spanish squad. They're up and coming at the moment. They've got such good young players. The French team aren't going anywhere. The Argentinian, it's not the Euros obviously, but in the World Cup, are they going to have another go at it? You never know. Portuguese aren't going anywhere. They've always got promising players. The Germans, they've got a fantastic team. I just think there's so many variables that it's not as black and white as we have some of the best players in the world. We have Jude Bellingham, who's fantastic, so we're going to win the tournament. And if we don't, then it's Southgate's problem. But if we do, then it's not Southgate's doing. It's the players. And I just don't think it's fair to just basically rewrite what's happened in the last few years. So that's all I'm saying. It's just a bit of a rant. I'm just bored of people reacting off these friendlies, because it's just, especially in the Nations League. First of all, what is that? It's just basically a marketing ploy to make people more invested in friendlies. So why do people get so up in arms about that? What happened in the summer? And look, Ukraine, they're all decent team. So I know we smashed them about in the Euros a few years back, but just forget about it. It's a friendly. We're going through. We're going to be in Germany next summer. We've got a fantastic team. We've got a manager who, yes, could be better, but he's got the team playing well in the last few tournaments. So I'm looking forward to it. But if you want to comment on this video, let me know what you think. If you think Southgate should go, I'm sure a lot of people do. I'm mixed on him, but going to give him one more go for the tournament. And then if he doesn't, if he does rubbish, then he's out for me. But yeah, if you could like and subscribe, and yeah, see you next time.